What do you really know about people who are born transgender? Have you ever met someone who's transgender? Well, if you're like me, you're curious but hesitant to ask questions. Well, welcome to Demystifying the Transgender Journey. In our conversations with people who were born transgender, their families, friends, and the professionals who support them, we ask probing questions and discover insightful and educational answers. You can also find more information on our website, thetransgenderjourney.com. Now let's get right into today's episode. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for finding Demystifying the Transgender Journey. You know, you're probably wondering what this is all about and whether you belong here and whether you can get anything out of this. So Wendy and I are putting together this short video today to explain who we are, why we're doing this, who we're interviewing, and who this is for. Hopefully you will stick around and subscribe and watch the rest of our podcast because we've got some great information here. So we want to educate about the transgender journey. Let's introduce ourselves first. I'm Lynn Murphy. I am one of the hosts. I founded Women Who Push the Limits, and I put together an interview book with 50 women and wrote the Amazon #1 bestseller, 50 Life Lessons from Inspiring Women. And I am heterosexual, white, cisgender, I'll say mature woman. You know, sometimes I say old woman, but a mature woman. So I've been interviewing people and writing for a little while, but I never imagined that I would be doing a podcast, which will lead to a book, on the transgender journey. Not until I met Wendy. And Wendy has educated me. Thank you very much, Wendy.
Lynn, it has been such a pleasure to have met you. You have been amazing. You have taken everything that I've told you, you've internalized it, researched it, reached out to other people, and you're now an ally, and you're just as passionate about doing this as I am. My mission and my legacy is to do everything I can to humanize being born transgender for the rest of society. And while I'm also helping people who are in transition and parents of transgender, it's become my passion. And I believe that in 2015, when I actually transitioned and started this life, that was the universe putting me on a path to doing something very meaningful. I don't expect people to understand the concept of being transgender unless you have ever questioned your gender identity, like looked in the mirror and said, I really should have been a man, or I really should have been a woman. If you've never said that, I don't expect you to understand this, because that's what people like myself go through every day of our lives. I did until 2015. I was in my 60s when I transitioned. It saved my life, literally. And it's been a wonderful experience. All I hope to accomplish is to change people's perspectives and give you a little knowledge to better comprehend what it means to be born transgender. This is not a choice. It's not something that you wake up and do. And I knew personally, I knew from age 3, I was different, just didn't have the words for it. I've lived with this for decades, and that's what I hope to share with you.
Well, and we are going to educate people. We're going, Wendy's the first person I interviewed, and she and I have had extensive conversations. Thank you so much, Wendy, for educating me. And that's what we're doing with our podcast. So we will be interviewing other people who were born transgender. We'll also be interviewing parents, siblings, friends, relatives, coworkers, and medical professionals who are helping the transgender community with their needs. Therapists, doctors, the whole spectrum. So we're taking a wide approach to this. We'll be interviewing some people who have transitioned from male to female, female to male. We want a kind of a comprehensive look at what it means to be born transgender. So we hope that you will stay tuned for all of those things. And we know that just by telling stories of real people, having you hear from people like Wendy and some of the other people we're going to interview, that you will understand the human side of this, rather than listening to people who are uninformed and misinformed about what it's like to be born transgender. if we can reach a few people and help you open up to this, this is for you. We want people who are maybe not sure of what this all means. Maybe you've got a family member or a friend. You've just found out that they're transitioning, that they are actually born transgender. You're probably confused. These podcasts will help you see the different perspective. Like Wendy said, we're not trying to understand this necessarily, but to have a different perspective on what's going on.
I feel that this is something that is very important to put out and offer you this kind of knowledge. It's very important, and it will make a difference. I know from the people that I've helped to transition, changing their beliefs in themselves and helping them to find self-acceptance, because most of us wind up having a very bad feeling about ourselves and who we are. The inner turmoil that people live with who experience this, it's debilitating at times, and it's a very difficult way to live. And I think that's an important thing to realize. This is not a choice. It's who we are.
So if you are born transgender, if you have loved ones, if you're just curious about what this is about, please subscribe, comment, rate and review this podcast, share it with other people who are open-minded and who want to know. Even like Wendy said, if you're born transgender, you may want to hear from other people. Some people who are born transgender don't necessarily put themselves out there the way Wendy has done. Listen to our podcast, participate, comment, and join our Demystifying the Transgender Journey group. We would love to have you part of the conversation. Just show up authentically and honestly and with an open mind, and we'll be there for you. So once again, thank you for joining the podcast, Demystifying the Transgender Journey. I'm Lynn Murphy. This is Wendy Cole, and we will guide you along in this educational experience. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today on this episode of Demystifying the Transgender Journey. Remember to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode of our fascinating interviews. You can also find more information on our website, thetransgenderjourney.com. So until next time, stay curious and stay kind.